plus some more. On the top of the plaque will be, we hope and have planned to put bronze plates for each of the services. This is a two-sided. It's 7 feet high and 10 feet long. And like I say, it's two-sided with 3 panels with the names of the military members on 6 granite panels. So this is our the VFW's vision and the museum's vision as a recreation of that civic oriented honor roll sign in 1944. Thank you.
And the 3 flagpoles stay exactly where they aren't moved at all. And this will go in front of the 3 flagpoles with room that you can walk on all sides.
Good evening. I'm Frank Hicks, the VFW commander of Tenino. Here we go. In 2015, the VFW, the Auxiliary, and American Legion started a process to redo the honor roll sign. At the time, our first space that we looked at doing was the Centennial City sign, because it had the flagpole, everything there we needed. We met with this museum board, but at that time it was not decided on because they thought they might repair it and redo it. Last year they came before us and asked if we would partner with them to redo the honor roll, and we were honored to do that. The honor roll will have the names of the over 245 names of those from World War II who served. We're also planning to put the names of approximately 100 World War I veterans on it. And then we plan on putting the names from 1946 to now and into the future of any Teninoan who has graduated or attended Tenino High School and served in the military, whether it would be National Guard, active duty, or during the war. As long as they served in the military, their name would be on that list.
And they went to Tenino High School.
Yes, Tenino High School. The original guidelines was Tenino and vicinity. We plan on putting on that, the original sign said honor roll, Tenino and vicinity. We plan on putting at the bottom that thank you for your service, to add that to that. Going forward, it would be up to the museum board and us to keep that up to date and keep it and do the carving of the stone and everything of that way, nature. I think it's important. We have an awesome memorial up there for those who gave their all. I think that's a beautiful thing, and it honors those men greatly. But I think because of these times and what we've come to know, the men and women who came home from this service, even though the war was over, the battles were over, every day in their life, some of them until they go home, fight a battle, either mentally, physically, or emotionally. And I personally think possibly by having their names carved in stone may give them an ounce of relief. So the VFW, the Auxiliary, and the American Legion highly support this process. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Do any of you have questions?
I just have a question. Is there something specific you're asking the city for? You haven't asked me.
This was for your information.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what I told them up front. It was
Okay.
for your information at this point, and we're doing designs and working on it and everything. And all of the data.
Into the mic.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
It all has to be official, Mary.
All right, I will be official. I guess I'm from the old days. Okay, it's more of a for your information, where we are in the planning stages. We've crunched numbers and we've done various different things on this project. One of the things I think that we need to think about is the fact that we have received numerous comments from people from the city and outside. It's like the school district, okay? People who live in school districts, especially older people, who really would like to have some kind of recognition for their member of the family who served. I know I'm one. My grandfather served in World War I, probably lost 15 years of his life. He didn't. He was over in Europe, in Italy and in Germany, but because of his war wounds, he probably lost 15 years of his life. Okay, he would never be on a wall, but it's, you know, it's kind of important to have him, some kind of memory. If you talk to the people like my mom, who's 93, and my aunt, who is 92, they lived during World War II. They lived during the time of this particular memorial wall and the importance they had of it. And it was totally torn down. No one knows what happened to it. All they saved was the Tenino sandstone that's down there. And to bring back some of this, I think, would be absolutely awesome for the community. Now this, granted the beautiful, and it is an absolutely gorgeous, what you did up there in this.
This is what we all did.
Yeah,
It was not
we all
me.
did. It's different than what we're talking about. That is totally different. And this is, because we're a museum, this is a historic piece. This isn't a piece of city type, memorial type thing. It is a historic piece that we want to preserve. And we probably will have pictures or something somehow on it. We've talked about, there's a circle that's a centennial, that's in sandstone. And we're talking about how that's going to be preserved along with a plaque, because that was done, and we're working with those ideas and things too. So we want to do some historic preservation of these ideas. So does anyone have questions?
I just say, I think it's a great project, and you know, we'll see where it goes, and I wish you luck on making it happen. I think it's a cool way to remember the people of the area that have served our country. So,
Mr. Mayor, as somebody that's worn many hats in this community, the last one besides council was president for the museum, and I am a veteran. I will not be able to be on that wall because I was not at Tenino High School. I did not go to Tenino High School. I do think that this is something that gives honor from far in the past to far in the future. And it's something that probably can be done. And it sounds like, while I was the chairman or president of the museum, we did have a lot of people, once Frank got the word out, a lot of people were saying that they thought it was a great idea. It's been improved from wood to stone, so it'll stand the test of time. You can't just take it down. So what I'm going to request is at our next meeting that we have a proclamation to support this. I think it would be proper for the city to at least give verbal proclamation for it.
Well, you know, we'll have to discuss it, but you know, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, you guys represent a specific constituency, and it's very important. And you know, you say that a lot of people have come to you and spoke to you about this, us as well, but we also get the other angles as well. So you know, I love everything you guys are saying, but please try to also consider the big picture as well. And there's a lot of different things going on, and nobody's saying no, and nobody's saying yes, nobody's saying this is a bad idea. And for example, you know, we have spent in the last year more efforts than any of our preceding governments in the history of Tenino on honoring our veterans. Hands down. We just spent $300,000 in an entire year building a memorial for our veterans, and there is no denying that it is magnificent. However, there are members of our population that have, just like you are today, put an assault on the city for doing that. You know, so there are other constituencies. There has been fallout from saying we are going to honor our veterans and we are going to build a giant wall. You know, joke totally intended. Build the wall, get it? So there was fallout from that, and we went to battle to get that done, and there was fallout. So you know, we want to be mindful of everybody, and I want you guys to realize that our park cannot become a giant series of monuments and memorials, and again, nobody's saying no. But please keep that in mind. We spent $300 grand an entire year building a beautiful memorial, and we got to be mindful of not turning the entire park into a memorial. We have worked very hard with the VFW to try and incorporate the honor roll and the history of the honor roll into what we're doing, and we have some very large interpretive signs that are, so the old memorial was made out of plywood, I believe, and it lasted for a little bit. What does plywood do in Washington? It doesn't last. So that's why that memorial doesn't exist anymore. It wasn't built right. It was cool, everybody loved it, but it wasn't built to be outside. So we have contracted with somebody to build big outdoor interpretive signs that will show that memorial, that honor roll on it, and you will be able to read every single name. It will show the history of the honor roll, where it came from, how it was built, what it looked like, where it was. It will show, we are even embedding a QR code within that interpretive sign, where some millennial can come up and is like, what the heck is this? They pull out their cell phone, they scan it, and then they can watch the service that we gave, and they can listen to Frank Hicks speak on the memorial, on their phone, right there at that interpretive sign. So we are really trying hard to commemorate this sign and make sure that it is brought into the envelope of our park while also being respectful of everybody else. So we're trying to do that. It's not, when you work on committees and you create things, compromises have to be made, and at the end of the day, when you started on that journey and when you end, if I'm Commander Hicks or Mayor Fournier or John O'Callahan or Mary, I've got an idea at the beginning, and through that process where we all work together at the end, it's never going to look exactly like what it did at the beginning, because we're going to be respectful of everybody else and see what everybody else has to have done and whatnot. So there in the discussions that we have, there were things that were presented initially, and I kind of heard today, and I heard different things today about what you want and what you got going on. And so there were things that were presented that I would say would not be sustainable. And I would stand by some of that. And I still think that it is hard to make a commemorative plaque where you are going to put hundreds of names on it into the future. Especially, that's one thing that I'm having a hard time reconciling. And I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but if you build a plaque that is going to have hundreds of names and then everybody's name on it, it's almost not doable. You run out of stone, and stone is hard to carve on. And then I have kind of ire with the concept that we will only honor those who graduated from Tenino High School and entered the service. Doesn't matter what they did or how long they were in. If you came to Tenino in 1996 and you went your senior year and graduated, and then you were in the Navy for a year and a half, you get your name on the plaque. However, John O'Callahan, who served the city of Tenino for 20 years as a council member and was in the Navy, doesn't get his name on the plaque. John Millard, who was in for 20 plus years, retired as a major, doesn't get his name on the plaque. But he's a citizen. He's a Tenino citizen. We can't deny that. So I want to be fair. So let's.
You're not being fair. Some of the things that you're saying that I think that needs to be discussed. Number one, you're saying the Vietnam Memorial in Washington D.C. it's not what you're. I mean, that has thousands and thousands.
But it's not everybody that went to Vietnam.
Wait. Okay, so the comment that you made, that we have made provisions how you put other people on there as it happens. We are historic. We're a museum. We're doing historical things. One of the historical things that we're doing is saving the wall, what is it called? The honor roll wall. It was people, boys, who didn't have a choice, who fought in World War II and went to school in Tenino.
Yes.
We are saving that same, preserving the same thing.
Okay,
So there's no question as far as they have to have gone to school in Tenino. Why? I have a person here, Fred, who went to school in Tenino, and he served in Vietnam. Okay, his name will be on the wall, and it should be. So this, because some of these boys, as Annie Marilyn could attest to, couldn't even finish high school because they had to go and fight, and many of them lost their lives.
And nobody's saying there's anything wrong with that.
You are.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you are.
Mary, I didn't. I did not say that.
Okay, so
You're not hearing me.
I am
Now,
hearing,
now
I'm
saying
hearing you.
preserving a historic piece is taking that thing exactly as it was and showing the world what we did in the past. Doing something new is not preserving a historic piece, but it's hard. It would be very hard, and it would be for the city to be responsible for something where, you know, it's every year where, you know.
Did we say the city was responsible for it? South Thurston County Historical Society has been responsible for the Centennial Flag Pavilion from the time it was built.
Okay, and
We're
it's
the ones.
dilapidated, right?
It's dilapidated.
Okay.
We're responsible for it. Then it's going to be responsible. We're saying we're responsible for it. And we can, you know, you can set, you know, money aside or do what, you know. But the things that you're bringing up are the fact that you personally
No.
have ideas. No, you personally have ideas of what you want to do with the memorial.
No, I have to write the check, and I have to we are responsible to make sure that things are gonna be.
Right, but you're talking about, what it needs to be is these people discuss it, and they decide what, you know, and what John said, I think is a good idea, where we start supporting it. They need to discuss it, we need to discuss it, the people from the community needs to
Mr. Mayor,
discuss it.
Nobody's saying no,
And not
Mary.
say,
Mr. Mayor.
that's in essence what you were doing.
No,
We
there,
did it before the meeting that we gotta discuss it.
Right, you guys need to discuss it.
So nobody's
We
saying
need-
no.
we-
But Mary, you didn't tell them we're not asking for money.
No, I
Right,
was
we're
just
not
about to
asking
ask
for
that.
any money from the city.
We understand.
Yeah.
The biggest concern is adding
Nobody
more
lost
and
any
more and more
rounds.
names in the future. I think that's the big concern. Nobody is saying.
Now, okay, unless we have a major war, how many more and more names are gonna be added?
Well, I understand, I thought it was just anybody
we've
who
been
was
at
in
war
the
for the last
service.
20 years.
No, you don't have that many people who serve. We have like one person per year practically, and many years with nobody, and yeah. You're talking about, yes, if you had a World War II, if you had a Vietnam War or something like that, you have tons of names to add. You're only looking at a few names down the road. You're not looking at tons of names, unless there's some major problem.
We have, yes, we have included areas where, large areas on the end of the monument that can be added for names.
Okay.
And both
Mayor,
sides.
this gentleman here with the black hat in the
Ron?
second row,
Yes.
Ron,
he had his hand up.
okay.
I'd love to talk. I love talking. So, earlier, everybody got all giddy.
We are where you live.
Hi, my name is Ron Grantham. I don't live in the city limits. I'm sorry, I'm not a voting member. I live right outside the city limits, but I am a veteran, I have a voice. Earlier, everybody's getting all giddy about the numbers, so let's talk about numbers. We're talking about the veterans, this little, how many people we have in this city?
The city's 1,700, but we're talking about the school district, which is quite a bit larger.
Okay, so even in the school district.
Like 40, I'm guessing like 40-some thousand people.
And earlier, there was numbers given out from Mr. Hicks. How many people did we have World War II World War I, World War II, Vietnam.
Oh, I can give you World War I, World War II. Currently, we need to go after more names. We have a bunch of names we don't have yet.
But what percentage of those folks that died or gave their life for this country in this small little town, what do you estimate the percentage is?
Well, there was 6 in World War I.
We have a monument with all their names inscribed on it.
I mean, I just don't understand.
Ron, we have a name with all those people's names inscribed on it.
So what is the argument right now?
There isn't necessarily an argument. I'm just saying that this idea has to,
That's a bad choice of words.
this idea has to be fleshed out further, because this is not to honor those who have fallen. We've created a massive monument for that, and those people that went to World War I, World War II, Vietnam, Korea, in any of the conflicts in the Middle East in the last couple of years, their names are on a massive stone monument just feet
And it
from
was
here.
beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
So we've covered that, and that is heads and tails above like 99% of the cities in this country.
Not arguing, it's gorgeous. I walk by it every single day. I walk on the path every day.
It's amazing.
Gorgeous.
The hard part is, a lot of places they, go to a city, find a city where they have this perpetual monument where anybody that joins the military gets their name. Typically, it goes, we honor the military and all those who serve, and we have an Army monument. We have a U.S. Navy monument.
Right.
And that represents all of you, all of those people. And because, you are a member of the armed services, you're in a uniform, you're part of an organization, and honoring that organization is you. That is what we have tried to do. We have also, and we're not done yet, we have also created these big, beautiful interpretive signs that are going to be mounted that will show the honor roll exactly as it was built back in the day. And we'll tell that whole story and name off those names that you want named. The hard part is, and I have my hard time wrapping around it, is that, if you didn't graduate high school here, you graduated high school in Rainier, and you go and you do an entire career in the military. You're in the military for 30 years, and you retire as General so-and-so. And then you spent 30 years in Tenino, you die in Tenino, you don't get your name on that monument. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to get judgy about people's service, but that person, that career military person, they served a lot longer than the person that, went their senior year and went a year and a half. I mean, so why would they get forgot? So it's like, I have a hard time reconciling that.
Right. It doesn't matter about rank structure and everything. I retired as a master sergeant.
Yeah.
And I'm from Tampa, Florida. I'm not from Tenino. I am a Tenino citizen now. I love this town with my heart.
City.
I'm sorry. City. I love this city. Thank you very much. I love this city from my heart. I think the problem that we're trying to get across is, I don't think you're listening to your veterans.
Well, it's a two-way street.
I'm
we're listening,
sorry.
we worked for a long time to
I
create
like
this
you.
thing. Yeah,
I like you.
we're buddies.
I appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I'll vote for you in the future.
You're not a Tenino citizen. Unfortunately.
If I was a voting citizen, I'd vote for
You and I
you.
have spilled beer many times
No,
together.
there's no problem. I appreciate you. I appreciate your thoughts and everything. I just, from the conversations I'm having with other folks, is you're not listening to all the veterans. And I just really wish you would listen to, these people love their country. They love their
No doubt.
town. I'm sorry.
There's no doubt in that.
City, town, whatever you want to call it, district, the Thurston County, they love this area. Just take the time to really listen to their thoughts and give them a little appreciation what they've done, and come to a good consensus, not just, don't get offended, not just what you think is right. You understand what I'm saying? Take everything into consideration. All of you sitting up here with a vote, take everything into consideration and appreciate the sacrifices that I have made. I did 22 years in the Army, I retired. I did 2 tours in Iraq. You know, I was in Kosovo and Bosnia. Appreciate the service I've brought to here. And listen, these are my mentors. All these people with whiter hair than I have are my mentors. I appreciate all these people. Just listen to them. All I'm asking you is listen.
Yes.
Listen. Don't just take everything. Don't look at the monetary value, because like I said, when I sit up here and this other guy who, in my opinion, wasted my time, but it was all about money, and everybody up here looked giddy when he was talking about money. That's just my personal opinion.
That's our chief job, is to be responsible for the money you give us.
I understand.
We have to take that seriously.
All I'm saying is all of y'all had different visions on your face when he was talking about money for this town, but when it talks about other numbers, like the people that died for this town and country and county and everything else,
Yeah.
the vision is a little different.
No. We
All I'm
put their
saying-
name on a giant monument.
I understand.
No, I mean,
I understand. I'm just saying.
And you know, like it's hard because I mean, we worked really hard on that, and there had to be compromises made, and some of them weren't understood. I know Trudy, like there was stuff when I'm wheeling and dealing to make sure that we're getting the funds that we need to build that monument, and there was some stuff that, you know, I'm politicking it and trying to secure money that you don't understand what I'm doing, and at times you put us at jeopardy.
You quit talking to us.
Because when you started calling the county and asking questions, phones stopped
Because we weren't getting
ringing.
any answers from
But you have to trust that we're going to get there
How can I
and do our...
trust somebody that hasn't shown me trust?
No, you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Mr. Mayor?
No, hold on. When you start making phone calls, when you start making phone calls and asking some questions and not going through us, it jeopardized the entire process. We almost lost the funding. We almost didn't get that entire Veterans Monument because
you lied to me.
waves were being made, not by
Lied
us.
to me.
No, Trudy.
I would never call John Hutchins, which is who the call was, which has been a friend of mine.
Sure.
Longer than you. And I had no idea he was gonna take it back to you. It was just I don't know what to do. That type of thing.
But just like this, nobody has come and talked to us about this presentation.
You told me to just stay away from it because you were handling it. And I did from that point on.
And I appreciate that.
stepped back.
And we got it done, and we spiked the football, and it went well.
You didn't communicate with them. You put John Millard, he's like your butt buddy, man.
Hey, you cannot talk that way. You're not gonna disrespect us, we're not disrespecting you.
You did.
I did not.
You did.
You can't talk that way, Trudy.
Mr.
Oh,
Mayor?
Linda, you're just part of it. Shut up.
Well, I
I'm
think
sick
you
and
get
tired of this.
No,
Forget that the pavers was what was gonna support. John bought a bunch for his family. All the people that didn't serve can support the wall by paying for a paver. The ones going on the wall were the ones that was going to be honored, that did serve. And that's all we're doing, and for the little town of Tenino. Let the other towns get their own damn wall. This is what we started with, and it's taken us 4 years to get back here, and thank God the Historical Society looks at it as an historical monument and wants to put it over by them where you guys won't have any money to do anything with it. We were doing it all on our own, and you have to come up with a bunch of crap.
that's not
and
true.
That's all you do. That's all you do. You're a backstabbing bastard.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor?
Lauren, please. You got anything else?
I'm just.
That does not reflect as I see it, the view of the Historical Society, what she just said.
But I hope
Yeah.
you see some of what,
understand
this is, I mean, I love Trudy, but it's hard to come to a consensus and work together sometimes when, you know, it's hard. Trudy's fantastic, she's amazing, she does a tremendous amount for this community, but you can't treat people like that, and, you know, nobody is saying any of this is bad, But at the same time, we've all got to work together because there's so many different viewpoints and.
Absolutely.
This was intended to be a four-year information, a really awesome, wonderful, uplifting idea with people from the community to do it. And I think the comments you made need to be made with your group, not back to us.
We've been talking about this for the last 2 years.
Just stop. I'm not part of your last 2 years. I'm not part of anything. I'm only part of right now. And right now, we're trying to get a very positive, wonderful thing for the people in the Tenino School District area, more than just the city of Tenino. And I think at this point, what John said, where you come up with, where you discuss it and you decide if you want to support, we're not asking for money, and to support what we're doing, I think that would be good. But what's happening now should not be happening, should never be happening, and I feel really badly that it's happening. And it's like taking a balloon with a beautiful idea and poking a needle in it and it bursts. We understand you don't need to keep going on, but we understand that yes, everybody's going to have their ideas, and there will be a coming together and maybe changes of things, etc. We understand that. That's just the way things are done. But to belittle everything we've done, and that's what's sort of happening here, is that we need to stop it. And right now, I think this discussion needs to end.
Well, it's not, so, Mary, this is our meeting.
It's your meeting, but it needs to end, yes.
Okay, first, thank you guys for your service. And then second, with the honor roll, you guys only want Tenino high school students, right?
Right.
Would you guys be open to the fact of, like, say, people like John O'Callahan or John Millard onto that wall, the citizens of Tenino?
Mr. Mayor, excuse me.
No, I'm sorry. I want to hear
Chill. Alright?
But,
Wait, no, Mary,
we're open to everything.
Mary,
Okay.
Mary. You can't say you're open to everything and then I say something and then you accuse me of criticizing you. Can I say that? Okay? Frank, how long have we been talking about this?
If I could answer his question?
Please, come on up. You are a fabulous representative of the VFW.
The reason we chose the high school graduates and students was because that was the original founders' scope. That's what they used when they did the original honor roll. That's what they used as their criteria for who was good to go on the wall. I mean, Dakota had an honor roll of their own, but not so they did that. So that was why that criteria was put in place, is that gets on the historical significance of how it was originated.
So then your proposal is not to recreate the honor roll that was downtown. Your proposal is to create a new conceptual honor roll with the same scope of the previous honor roll.
Correct.
Because that, okay.
Yeah. I mean, that was the scope was. That was the scope was how the original founder said was graduates, when they said school vicinity, right? Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Now that's different. That's a different concept. You know, saying this is a history project, and we are going to commemorate what we had. You know, that is my understanding of what we wanted to do, and that's what we're doing with those interpretive signs. The compromise I thought we had was that, you know, if you join the service and you want your name commemorated, you buy a brick and you put your name on the brick, and that brick is going to be put into that honor walk that we talked about. There's been so many different concepts thrown out in the last year and a half, 2 years. Just everybody know that. We have went over this and talked this out and gone over so many different concepts, and I am still trying to be mindful of not turning the park into a massive memorial, because it's also for kids too, you know, right? The playground is not a place for something, you know, somber and solemn and of reverence, right? We've got to have those things. You know, the church is the church. The memorial is the memorial. The playground is the playground. We don't want those things overlapping. So, you know, and we do have a park plan that we spent like 2 years working on, and these things that we do are years in the making. We've worked very hard at making sure that the gears of our government grind slowly, because that's how things get done. And you know, you don't want to do things on a whim, or we're going to be building a monorail through town next week. You know, so nobody needs to be upset and think that, you know, anybody is not appreciative of anyone or anything like that. But the place for this discussion is not necessarily here tonight. You know, before these presentations are made, you bring them to us, you bring them to me, we sit down, we talk about it. Maybe the best suggestion is, well, when the comp plan is revisited and we pull the park plan out of the comp plan, we designate this thing so that we can get funding. Because as simple as it sounds, we cannot sell brick, you know, and I'm sorry, nobody would have imagined we would have built that $300,000 monument, you know, but we dreamed bigger in Tenino than we did when we built a plywood sign, right? We're going to. We are going to build things that last 500 years when we do something. So, you know, there's some of that kind of needs to get worked out.
Okay, but back when we first got into this and we started, it was our goal from the VFW and the auxiliary to do everybody. That hasn't been our goal, to get all names on there that we can. That has been our goal. So hopefully we can achieve that. If not, well, yeah, that's our goal.
So at the beginning of, I think at the beginning of this year, or was it last year, you guys were selling bricks, correct?
2 years ago.
Or 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
You were selling bricks, and it was going to be for whoever served, correct?
The bricks were being,
For the walkway leading up to the memorial?
the bricks were being sold to raise money for the honor roll. That was what the bricks were being sold for. But the bricks that have been sold are still going to be used on a pathway going to the Veterans Memorial. If we go back and do new bricks, we'll have a new form, and the person buying a brick will be determined if they want it at the Veterans Memorial or at the Honor Roll Memorial.
And the compromise, as we made it at the table, was the honor roll was going to be this interpretive sign where we make a sign that is going to be weatherproof and is going to last forever. That is going to be the honor roll. And it was originally the VFW was going to pay for those interpretive signs through the bricks that they sold. Now the city is paying for the interpretive signs on our own.
Correct.
So I mean, we have continually stepped up to support you guys, but every answer to every concept will never be yes in any situation. You've been married for how long? How long have you been married? Do you always hear yes at home?
Yes, dear.
Yeah, you always say yes. So I mean, we have to be realistic too, and that just because sometimes the answer is no or maybe, or like, heck, let's think about this. That's no reason to get offended and call names and storm out. We can't do that, or we can't work together. And if you do that, don't be surprised if you don't get a phone call the next day.
Well, I'm not offended.
Not you.
No, I'm just saying that that's our goal, and we would like to achieve that goal, and mainly because to honor our veterans and what they've gone through. Mm-hmm. I really feel we should honor the veterans that are still suffering, or had suffered even after the war. And if like I said earlier, if just for 1 ounce of, something for them out of it.
And did we? When we had that on Veterans Day, right? It was Veterans Day, when we were having that ceremony and everybody stood up for their individual service branch that was there, that was honoring those people in ways that I've never seen anywhere. Like, that was awesome. It was, and there was hundreds of people that came out to do that in this little town.
City.
So we do this, and the way I see it, we are at the ground level for doing what you're saying. Like, we have established in this community that we really care about our veterans, and we care about it so much, we are going to take the very front of our park and we are going to establish this massive monument that you can see almost from space, and then we are going to hold ceremonies here that the VFW will be the MC for. You guys have an altar that is right out your back door. Nobody else has that. You know, so we have a lot that we've done and we should be thankful for, and we shouldn't be calling each other names because, man, we have been over backwards.
Right. But I'm saying that this is something that I hope you would support us in our efforts to do because of the historical and the significance.
And let's flush it out.
And discuss it and
I personally have kind of a heartache about destroying a monument that's already there. Even though you say it's dilapidated, you know, I mean, you don't, just because something gets old, Frank, doesn't mean you throw it out the window. Right, Frank?
No, well,
just because something gets old doesn't mean it's not still good.
Have you looked at it? I mean, you should.
I do.
Yeah,
and it's got fresh flowers in it. There's people that care about it and appreciate it. So, you know, the first step might be the council members walking down there and walking around that thing and say, hey, maybe we want to watch this thing, you know, deteriorate over the next 100 years, because it will. You know, so it's not so simple as if we say take a pause that we should get yelled at.
Well, okay. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Lauren.
So are your interpretive signs that you propose, are they just the honor roll, or are they going to be updated through Vietnam and other wars?
What we believed we were creating through a negotiated compromise was to commemorate the honor roll, the historic honor roll as it was created.
Okay.
And we want to take exactly what Tenino had and show everybody how in the past they honored their veterans within the context of how we honor them now. So you would be standing, ideally, you would walk by the quarry house and there would be a pathway with paved bricks of names, and say Frank Hicks wants his brother's name on that honor roll, on that honor walk. He buys a brick, and the city and the VFW work together to make this nice sidewalk with all these names and maybe the branch of service. John O'Callahan buys one, John Millard buys a bunch, and it has names of service members that you want sponsored. You walk along that pathway and there's interpretive signs that show how in the past Tenino has honored its veterans, and then you look at the wall that's created and you see how they honor them now. And that's going to be a part of a bigger program where all of our monuments are going to get an interpretive sign. You will stand in front of the quarry pool and you will see an interpretive sign that says, hey, originally this was created by veterans too. This is the Veterans Memorial Pool. This is the whole history of it. And here's a QR code where you can watch a video. And then in the front of the museum, there's going to be another one. And on that one is the QR code that allows, have you seen the 3D models that we've done?
No, sure.
So when the museum is closed, you will be able to go to that interpretive sign, pull up your smartphone, or even put on your Google glasses, and you will be able to cue into that interpretive sign, and without somebody being a docent, you will be able to tour the entire museum virtually through your device, and in that 3D, you can do this now. In that 3D tour, on your computer, you go on that 3D tour, and through virtual reality, you can zoom up to the printing press, and an icon pops up. You click on that icon, and you know what you see right now? A video of you operating the printing press.
That's cool, but
it's amazing.
I don't own a phone, so
but everybody else, 77% of the population owns a smartphone, as you heard in the previous presentation.
My question there again stands. On your walkway, are there going to be updated signs for other wars besides just the honor roll for people that graduated tonight? Well, that's my question. That's what they plan on doing on this wall. They plan on updating it completely as an honor roll, not just the old one.
And
so, as the interpretive signs through your walkway, do you plan on adding?
You can always add interpretive signs, but the vision was that pathway is the key to that. Because it's hard when you have a space this way and you start filling up name after name after name after name into stone, it's very unmanageable. We as a city deal with lots of stone carvings. And as you can imagine, if you had something that is this way, and you just keep adding names to it, it gets, all of a sudden, there's a giant wall in the park of names, and we have to think about, again, like 300-400 years in the future. However, if it's spaced this way, you can have a yellow brick road that leads to anything, anywhere.
Do we know how many kids a year from Tenino High School go into the service?
I would imagine 7, 8, which adds up to a lot.
Thank you.
So, we're brothers, so Wayne, how you doing?
We're buddies.
Here's the problem, we're in this transition phase. As you can see, some of the folks around me are a little older than I am. I am a computer / internet, whatever geek. Even though I'm 52 years old, I love technology. I'm all into this stuff. You know, what are we doing about those folks that are not so savvy as I am? You know,
Yeah, the interpretive sign,
You know,
the walk, the
people-
wall,
yeah,
the museum,
people
the
that go up there-
analog folks.
Yeah, the people that go up there with their smartphones and they can watch a video and everything, we just gotta make sure we're taking care of those that are not so savvy, and I hope we're doing that.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the only thing I'm saying. Yeah, I hope we do that until we get to that transition to where, I don't wanna say this, they pass away, you know, they're gone, you know.
I say that about me all the time, don't worry about it.
Say it, we all die.
Marilyn, you're gonna live forever.
That's the only.
Okay. Final comments. It's been, we've done this for an hour and a half. So you guys, I mean,
That's the only
Yeah.
final comment I wanted to say
Alright.
was, you know, we just gotta remember, they're not dead yet.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Dave, what are,
No, I was just gonna basically say, you know, same thing you just said.
Okay.
An hour and a half.
yeah, we did this for an hour and a half. So nobody can say we don't care and we don't want to work this out. But it's not that simple.
I love all y'all, I appreciate y'all, I really do.
Marilyn, you always have the floor if you want it. What do you got for us?
More dialogue is what you need.
Not tonight.
Simple, no, not tonight, over everything, dialogue. Talk to each other, not at each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Atta girl, Marilyn. Atta girl.
Very good.
Okay.
All right.
Now, I don't want to do the rest of the agenda because it's 9 o'clock. However, I'm going to ask John if there's anything in his mind that needs to be done tonight.
Barbecue.
Under old business, the RCO WWRP grant
Okay.
program.
So we will go to old business 10. The legislature approved $85 million for this RCO WWRP grant program. The fund would have needed $130 million in order for Tenino's project to be fully funded. However, it is possible for the city to receive partial or full funding if cities higher on the list drop off for any reason. Everybody following me?
Yes.
This is for the playground grant. In order to remain on the list, the city must certify our willingness to commit our own matching funds in support of the project. In this case, $198,644. If only partially funded, however, the city's match share increases in an amount equal to the decrement in RCO grant dollars. I just stuttered. As of April 30th, 2019, were we to execute the existing budget with 100% accuracy, there would be $293,010 in the Municipal Capital Improvement Fund on December 31st, 2019. If $198,644 is the certified to RCO, $94,366 would remain unrestricted in that fund. It is recommended that you move to approve the certification of $198,644 to the RCO WWRP grant program in support of the Tenino City Core project, if that project is fully funded by the RCO. And if by a miracle that happens, that doesn't mean we cut a check. That means we come back and talk to you guys.
Yeah.
We just have to certify this, or we're off the list.
So if it comes out there, it's gonna come back to us for final
Yes,
approval?
yes, but we will be completely out of the running. Maybe every other city forgets to do this.
Yeah.
You know,
It's just a step, if we don't do
Yep.
it.
I'll make a motion to approve,
Second.
it has been moved and seconded to approve the to approve the $198,644 to the RCO WWRP program in support of the Tenino City Park Core project, if that project is fully funded by the RCO. and we will make sure we come back before anything moves forward. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Mayor, let's do the proclamation. It's short, sweet.
We're gonna do new business. Tenino VFW Post 5878 requests a waiver of fees and deposits regarding the planned Memorial Day ceremony to be held in Tenino City Park, specifically at the new Veterans Memorial, on either Sunday, May 26th, Monday, May 27th, or both from approximately 1 p.m. until ceremony is complete.
Move approval.
It has been moved and seconded to move to approve the waiver of fees and deposits for the VFW Memorial Day ceremony in the month of May 2019. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes.
Resolutions and the two ordinances I'd like to.
Okay, resolution 2019-01 would adopt the city official handbook as the replacement for the current City of Tenino personnel policy manual and any prior additions, revisions, or amendments. Dave, be ready.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready, no.
Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion to put this off to the next one.
We're just gonna keep moving. Ordinances. Ordinance 898 would amend the Tenino Municipal Code to include a special events permit process. Recommended action, move to accept the second reading on it and to adopt ordinance 898 as written.
No move.
It has been moved and seconded to accept as a second reading and to adopt ordinance 898 as written. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Ordinance 901 would make various minor changes throughout Title VI of the Tenino Municipal Code. These modifications range from clarifying that DOR will only issue a general business license on behalf of the city to procedures for obtaining a duplicate license and posting instructions. Recommended action is to remove to accept as a second reading and adopt ordinance 901 as written.
So move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the second reading and adopt ordinance 901. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. That brings us to proclamations. Councilmember O'Callahan wishes the city to issue a proclamation making May Arts Education Month here in Tenino. Item is attached. By city proclamation, May 2019 Arts Education Month, whereas the city of Tenino recognizes the arts defined as dance, media, arts, music, theater, and visual arts as a core academic subject and an essential element of a complete and balanced education for all students. And whereas learning in through the arts enable students to develop critical thinking and problem-solving skills, imagination and creativity, perseverance, alternative ways to communicate and express feelings and ideas, and cross-cultural understanding and empathy, which supports academic success across the curriculum as well as personal growth outside of the classroom. And whereas collectively arts and culture enable an understanding of the past and envisioning of a shared, more equitable future, and whereas imagination and creativity are increasingly understood as critical capacities needed for the success in the 21st century workforce, and I'm going to give Rick Nelson a run for his money. Whereas we applaud the efforts and dedication of arts educators and advocates around the state, and call for school and community leaders to continue to broaden and strengthen their efforts to provide arts education for every student in every school every year. Now, therefore, we, the Mayor and the City Council of Tenino, Washington, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2019 as Arts Education Month and urge all people in our community to join us in this special observance. Signed in the City of Tenino, Washington, this 14th day of May 2019.
Move approval.
Second.
It has been moved.
That was the shortened version.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the proclamation naming May 2019 Arts Education Month. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. We are going to forego reports unless John Millard insists on giving his or the chief insists on giving his.
No, but I would like to point out that in the reports area where the EDC appears, there are two documents in there from them. One is their annual summary of the things they did for us, and the second is the proposed certification documents for our creative district. Mr. Sharp wanted you guys to be able to take a look at that. We are going to sit down with Ms. Roth from the Arts Council on the 17th, and that will be a pre-certification conference, if you will. She's going to walk through that checklist with us, make sure we've got all our I's dotted and T's crossed, and if that occurs, then we will come back on the 28th, ask you all for your approval of the certification documents. We are 99% certain that we are going to get certified. And if we do, that comes with a $5,000 check for the creative district.
Okay. Last 5 minutes, I'd be remiss not to acknowledge Mark Daly, the Executive Director of TRPC, in the audience, and invite him up.
2 minutes?
Yeah, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to provide, hi, Mark Daly, I'm the Director of Thurston Regional Planning Council. It's been a while since I've been here, so I just wanted to provide a really quick update on a handful of the things that we're working on right now that affect the city of Tenino. Most importantly, we're getting close to the end of the Tenino-Bucota Trail feasibility study. John Millard, you had some concern about the orientation of the spur out to the west of the city, and we have made it very clear with the contractor that we need to look at orientation being on either the north or the south side and the pros and cons of that. The timing of getting that study done is very good because we're about to start the regional trails plan update this year, and so the timing for getting this done couldn't be better. Quickly, we're also working on the population, employment, and land capacity forecasts for the county and all the jurisdictions. That's then used by the jurisdictions for the update of comp plans. So you'll get new population, employment, and land capacity numbers up to 2040, and we're gonna have that done by the end of the year. We are working, we're just getting started on the regional transportation plan update, and one thing that I'd like to talk more about with you at another time is we're looking at potentially putting together a package that includes Main Street 507, the Rochester and Grand Mound transportation studies that we've just done, so that we can look at a way of packaging those up together, so that we can get some of these projects funded, because it's been challenging, as you all know, to get some of those projects funded as standalones, because they don't oftentimes raise to the dollar value or to the importance for DOT. And so our hope is if we can package some of that together, we can go after some different fund sources for that. So look forward to more conversation on that. And also I just want to say, any of these pieces, happy to come back and go into greater detail. If you have any questions or concerns, please just give me a call anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is Nicole Thode in the audience from
I
the
am.
library? Okay, I want to make sure we get you before.
I will be so fast.
Thank you. We don't want to miss you.
Thank you. I made just 5
Have you introduced yourself to the council yet?
Yes. Once I came
Okay.
about a month and a half ago.
Okay,
My name's
great.
Nicole Thode. I manage the Tenino and Tumwater libraries. I've worked for Timberland for over 10 years, 8.5 in Yelm. So I'm pretty familiar with the area. So you guys kind of need to share these. That's fine. I have a couple of concerns about our building and safety. And what I really need to know.
In his line.
Oh. Thank you, hi, Nicole. What I really need to know is how you prefer to be contacted when we have an issue. Currently, staff at the library have a number for Toby, and...
We don't have anybody named Toby that works for us.
Okay.
I'm sure it's not Troy.
Troy.
It's Troy?
Okay.
Troy. Anyway, it's on a post-it taped to a computer, but how do you want me to express what our needs are? Currently, and I included pictures, there's a couple of, on the side of the building facing the Key Bank parking lot, there is a huge chunk missing, and part of it has fallen into the parking lot, so it's a safety concern. Also, you can see some dry rot happening. Additionally, under the eaves, the screen is missing, and we have birds that are in there, and they're not just nesting, they're in the library. We have to push these up and prop them with a book so the birds can get out.
You got plenty of books.
Still not the safest or the best. The kitchen sink squirts water on the wall. It's been that way for quite a while. I'm not sure if it's been addressed at all, but it's bubbly, it's damaged. So there's not a lot of money involved here, but we need some time from somebody, and I'm not sure, how do you want to be contacted? Do I call Troy? Do I email John Millard?
I wouldn't just call, I mean, usually if you want to get something done, you don't just, I mean, calling somebody is fine, but you always want to make sure you have sometimes
Correct, and I'm not sure what that
so
process is.
Email is always the best
To whom?
option. Well, I would email Troy, and then I would CC me.
Okay.
If you're not, that's, if you're not getting what you want, you CC the boss.
Okay.
And you can CC John Millard in there as well, because he is the city clerk, and so anything you want filed, and to make sure the city has clerked away, you include that guy.
Okay.
He is the repositor of all things that need to be reposited.
Okay.
He's our librarian, you put it in librarian terms.
Both Yelm and Tumwater have a work order form that I fill out,
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't see anything like that, so I wanted to make sure that I had the right process, so I wasn't just sharing with people who couldn't do anything. Also, I was wondering if there is some sort of mowing or yard maintenance schedule that I am not aware of? Is there?
Schedule, I don't know, but they have a lawn mowing routine that they get through. When in times when all of a sudden a bunch of sunlight and rain come out, it's gonna get, it's gonna be harder to tackle and stay on top of everything because everything grows so quickly. So, when, you know what I'm saying?
I do, yeah, but there's not like a regular schedule, like once a
Oh, I'm
month?
sure there is.
There is,
It's
okay.
gonna be more than once a month.
Okay.
Currently, our lawn mowing guy resigned last Friday, and we are hiring a new one. So sometimes we have less staff.
Gotcha.
So but remember, our public works staff they're not just custodians. They're not just lawn mowing people. They're also right now they're changing out sewer pumps. Right now, that's why they're not here.
Nope.
So they wear many hats. So when you compromise, when you make somebody a jack of all trades, you compromise some things. So Tenino, these guys are filling potholes, replacing sewer pumps, maintaining a multi-million-dollar treatment plant.
Absolutely
So they're
respect
doing
that.
a lot of things, so sometimes the lawn gets a little higher some places.
Nope, it just, I just wasn't sure in general, because, not so much with the yard maintenance, that was a little add-on, because I thought, oh, I'm gonna ask them while I'm there, like, when's that happen? Really, the things that are on this list are the things that are my main concerns. I can leave them with you and I can check back later. I know it's very late and you guys had a long night.
It's
but
tough.
I needed to get this out.
Unfortunately, you get put into a hopper where we cover many things, and so you say safety priority, and we're like, well, dry rot, exploding
It's
things.
also pieces falling into the parking lot, which has exactly happened.
Yeah, so we work on that, but it is a competitive process with the police department, and if that doesn't work, then we could talk about that, but that's kind of it doesn't. We can't, we will get to it, but we can't say full stop.
Not looking for promises here, just at this point we have things living, and I think we're at a tipping point for the longevity of the building, so I'm quite concerned.
Okay.
That's where we're at, so that's why I'm here.
Yep.
It's not about necessarily making sure we have a manicured lawn, it's really about the longevity of the building. We really appreciate the building, it works great.
Totally.
We are a beacon of lifelong learning, celebrating the arts, and we want to be here for a long time, so we don't want it to be something that could be $100 fix this month is going to be $1,000 in 6 months. So that's what I want, is just to be proactive and caring for the problems that we have. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was longer than 3 minutes, I'm so sorry.
No,
Call me if you have any questions, I'm right there.
all right.
Okay.
Sir, what you got, Leslie?
Just real quick.
Make it quick, please.
I will. Our
No, just shout it out.
the sign, the 25-mile-an-hour sign coming into town down here, and probably down here too, they got flags on them. They're gray. I was almost tempted to go up and take a couple of flags out of Olympia and bring them down here.
We're gonna end the meeting.
So
I'm not gonna cut you off, but this is.
Please get them replaced.
Okay.
Because cars go racing by there.
All right. Thank you. Meeting adjourned. See, I gotta make everybody mad. That's so great.
Didn't do good. Didn't do good. I gotta figure out a way to describe it.
It's ready.
Okay.
You got about 2/3. Oranges? I have plans. Did you put tomatoes in by now?
Leave this out.
Oh.
I got that.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get a frost or not.
Well, it's not raining right now.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah.
Ready?
Alright. Yeah, we're gonna work on that. Thank you, Lauren. I would like to come and show you guys that Tenino too. It's amazing.
Yeah, a little reference. It's like
Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So you know how to get stuff done? Excellent.
I have it out there.
Okay, what's your name?
Nelson.
Nelson George. George Nelson, okay. Will you use your help? Okay. I got a question. Okay. I gotta catch Frank. But maybe nothing will ever come out. It's all started, that was it. The guy in the hat. Well, the one that I had, that was.
That's okay.
Yeah.
All right, well, I'll call him and talk to her. Give her, all right, thank you.
Yeah, he's making me work. I'm staying in the